this move is inevitable on the way to the upside in the next couple of days, potentially even $45,000 level. I know a lot of you guys might right now be cheering and celebrating that Bitcoin pushed on a Sunday to the upside, but I want to give you here a massive warning to be cautious with a move like that. Let's go. We're gonna start off here on the weekly chart because that is one of the most important charts that we need to watch today. And the reason for that is that the Bitcoin price needs to close above the 25 moving average today to maintain the overall macro uptrend. If we would lose this trend, Bitcoin would risk to come lower to around the potentially even $45,000 level, because here would be the next bigger order block that would potentially support us in a downwards movement under the 25 moving average here. But of course, for now, we are trading above that. We got a nice pump today to the upside. Honestly, I don't know where it came from. I was quite surprised when I saw it that we moved up $800 in a matter of a couple of seconds. But I also won't complain about it. Also here, the cup and handle pattern that we are forming could be an indication that Bitcoin over the next 2-3 weeks will see here a breakout out of the handle. And just to give you some perspective, if we would break this cup and handle pattern here to the upside, let's say we break it in 2 weeks, then the target of that cup and handle pattern would be a shocking $128,000. So do I believe that we are seeing this like this month, next month? No, of course, guys, no, of course not. So we need to wait a little bit for that. But it is in the cards. It is in the cards. It will take a couple of months, but down the road, I definitely see this playing out for us. When we're going into some lower time frames, for example, into the 8-hourly chart, then we can see that here right now, the bullish divergence that we were talking about for quite a while is finally playing out. At least it looks like it, that it's finally playing out. And also the first signs of higher time frame bullish divergences seem to be getting ready to play out here. And don't forget, we are forming a potential a W pattern. It is slightly distorted, I'm gonna admit that. But if we would break out here, this would bring us back to around $65,000 in the next couple of days. But for that, of course, we need to take out all these wicks that is resistance right now above us at $62,400. This remains a really strong resistance level, the same like the $61,500 level. As you can see, we are getting rejected there. Even if we would just hold current price levels, that would be absolutely fine and should lead to continuation as early as tomorrow, after tomorrow, to the upside. Because again, guys, Bitcoin was held down here for such a long time from this downward sloping trend line that it is time here to get a relief move back to the upside. Not saying that this will be the move that will bring us back to $70,000, because there is some resistance on the way to the upside that we need to take into consideration that could lead to that we get another rejection back into current levels. But we are poised to get a really nice move here into higher price levels. And again, this move is inevitable because we have liquidity stacked crazy at higher levels, and there's the majority of the liquidity, and that's where the market is usually moving to. So also here on the 12-hourly chart, we have a falling wedge pattern. The target of the falling wedge pattern would be the macro resistance here at $72,000. But here also a word of caution, the stochastic is already overextended. The RSI starts to go sideways. Only the MACD is still quite bullish here in this sideways chop that we see here since last week, Monday. But because the stochastic is about to top out here, I would be careful. We could see a rejection from this level and we come back down to 0.786. Just want to point this out here that this is a scenario, not saying that we are going to do that. Bitcoin could also just make a nice God candle to $64,000 and then the indicator starting to reset. So you have to take that always with a grain of salt when you see something like this. But it is one of the warning signs that I'm looking at in terms of exhaustion of momentum in the market. where was this move actually coming from? And here I want to show you something on CoinGlass. The move was driven first slightly by leverage. So people went long and pushed the price higher. That was in the early stage of this move here today. But then we saw also a spike in spot bids. So the move that was with leverage was then also caught by spot bidders, and they keep pushing the price up. So now you see the open interest is still increasing while leverage is coming down, and that is a good sign. So because that means that now if the price would push higher, it would be spot driven, and that's what we want to see. We want to see fresh money coming in and not money rotating through leverage in the market. What we want to see is increase in spot bids. But here in the open interest also, I want just to let you know, the open interest is increasing, and the reason for that might be that people start taking shorts here, and that is also why we see here leverage going down. So people start building shorts, and the open interest overall is increasing while price is going sideways and the spot bid is going sideways. So we could be potentially in for a small flush in open interest to liquidate some of the latecomers that are longing here, and then get another push to the upside, and open interest increases to the upside. So just be aware of that. So if that would be the case, then we would most likely go back to like $60,400 approximately. But yeah, let's see what's going to be happening here. But something else that I want to point out here, really interesting, guys. We are about to break the downward sloping resistance line on the Bitcoin correction chart. And I can tell you, once we are breaking above this trend line and close a daily candle, a clean daily candle above that level, that might be the start of a proper reversal back to the upside, and finally leaving the correction consolidation phase here that is now going on for 108 days in total. So yeah, so we want to finally get out of that. I don't think that any one of you wants to continuously be stuck in this here, because this is now also the longest period that we have consolidated in terms of reaccumulation and correction phases in this cycle so far. So that we are potentially breaking out here today might be the precursor of the reversal, and that we are leaving finally this correction phase. On the cycle chart here, I'm also waiting for a final confirmation that we are leaving the correction phase in the optimism stage. And what I'm looking for here in the optimism stage is a green candle, a green Heiken-Nashi candle. Right now we did not get one yet, so even if I move here the fractal to the side, you see there is no green candle yet, but potentially we're getting one tomorrow. So I'm definitely looking out for that green candle, because that will be my go sign to go massively long on a lot of altcoins, also Bitcoin, to add to my positions here. And I'm just waiting for it, being trigger happy to pull the trigger once I see a closed green candle here, because I know then because we're in the optimism stage, that we are starting now our next leg to the upside. Then on the 50 minutes chart, I had extended a little bit the ascending triangle. So we got the breakout. The target remains all the way up here at $62,200. We are forming right now, as it looks like, a bull flag. But now, guys, remember, on a 50 minutes chart, that doesn't always have need to play out here, and we need to break out in the next 30 minutes. If that's not happening, then the flag gets way too long, longer than the pole, and usually we are not getting then the break to the upside. But here, of course, we have here continuation pattern in terms of these three candles. If we would get a breakout here with the bull flag, most likely it's more or less in alignment with the overall ascending triangle target. Yeah, it's more or less the same. So here again, you have some confluence that we should see a move to $62,200 pretty soon, potentially even before you see this video. There is a chance for that. So, but if you want to scalp here the last bit out of that move. You can do that from 61,580 to 62,230. That is a 1% move, so you need to use high leverage to actually make money on that, like 50x leverage, with a tight invalidation, a tight stop loss at $61,400. That's where I would put my stop loss personally, if I would scalp that to the upside. Of course, you can bet on that we potentially move straight higher to 64, but I would not do that because there is some resistance up here. So, and also don't forget that we are here in between these two red lines. That is the CME closing and opening, and we are now well above the closing price, almost $1,000 above the closing price, even though there's like a $400 only difference. So that means $600 CME gap is already there if we are keeping current prices. So also be aware of that when in a couple of hours CME is opening, that we could get effed here back to the downside because of the CME gap that's below us. On the 4-hourly chart here, also with the chandelier exit indicator, we are trying to break out of the downtrend that was created from all the way up. So imagine if you would have used this indicator and you would have shorted from here, from $72,250 on the 4-hourly chart. You could have shorted this all the way down here. You would be still in this short and would be racking profits over profits in here. And really interesting is that the 50 moving average is in alignment with that resistance level right now, and that's why the Bitcoin price struggles to move here into higher levels. Also, in terms of the chart pattern, we're just halfway through it. So in the best case scenario, we are just getting a retest of the upper resistance at $62,400. Then I would expect that we come back down here, consolidate a little bit more before we get next week a nice break out of the ascending triangle. In terms of liquidation levels, so we have some over-leveraged short positions that are about to get wrecked. If we would get a small spike to the upside above the EMA ribbon, would we get immediately a short squeeze into higher levels? No, I don't think so, because here is a small gap. But once we are tapping here into these lower leveraged short liquidations, there, yes, from there we get another short squeeze all the way up to $65,800 in my opinion. Here also, the EMA ribbon is overall in a downtrend. We need to get some candle closes above the EMA ribbon to flip the ribbon back into an uptrend. And also only then you can massively flip bullish here. So of course, if you have higher time frame signals preceding the 4-hourly chart, then of course you can jump the gun a little bit earlier. But normally you get, when you see higher time frame signals, you get better entries on the lower time frames. So that's why, for example, I would wait here on the 4-hourly chart to get a close above the EMA ribbon to add massively to my positions. Then on the liquidation heat map, here you see how much liquidity is here just over the last week accumulated above us. So here, this is at least $2-3 billion worth of liquidity in short liquidations that is sitting here. And the next target for Bitcoin on the 1 week chart would be $62,600, because it is the brightest area on the chart. And you see below us, there is not a lot of brightness visible, and only above us. And of course, if I go over into the last 30 days, then you see that still around $72,000 here. There is the highest concentration, but here you also see at 65,000 has now built up a really, really bright area. And that might be in the midterm the initial target for Bitcoin, to take out this liquidity once we are short squeezing from 62 to like 62,600. Then take a small break and then slowly grind to the $65,000 level. And of course, also the Bitcoin dominance is reacting as we were predicting it here. I told you guys, most likely we are going to see a small bounce when Bitcoin is bouncing, and that's what we're experiencing here right now. The dominance is going up while the Bitcoin price is going up. That's absolutely fine. We can get a retest of the 55% level, and then we will most likely slowly go back to the downside, break below 54.3%, and will start a proper run in altcoins, in my opinion. There's nothing more basically to say here for the time being. Just let Bitcoin do its thing, let Bitcoin move up here, and let the dominance rise with it together. And then when Bitcoin has a small breather and moves sideways in consolidation, we should get then here some sideways downwards chop on the Bitcoin dominance. And guys, don't forget, if you want to trade anywhere with me together, trade on Bybit. You still get $30,000 if you use the link down below. Also on Margex, there you can trade without any KYC, so you don't need to give any form of identification to them. There you can also use the link down below here. And I have a new exchange that I'm partnered up with, that is Weeks. Here I'm also going to open really soon some new trades, and here you get up to $20,000 in deposit bonuses. For example, deposit $5,000, you get immediately a $1,000 futures bonus that you can use for trading. So basically, and the good thing is you can immediately withdraw that money again, you know, so you deposit $5,000, you get your $1,000 bonus, you withdraw your $5,000, now you have $1,000 for free. You leverage that, for example, with 20x, now you have a $20,000 position absolutely for free, and don't tell me that you cannot make money with that. So definitely go under this video and check out the new link to Weeks and make sure that you have an account there. My Lido trade is still a little bit underwater, but I'm still confident that this will turn into a profit. Let's have a look here at Ethereum first. Ethereum is also still holding the golden ratio here and is trying to get closer to the downward sloping trend line on the 12-hourly chart. Here also, we need to wait to get a proper break to get here into positions. You can potentially here nibble a little bit, just a little bit, and open like a position with 10% of the initial amount that you would like to use for a proper position. And just see what's going to happen here. So if we break out to the upside, then you just add to your position. But also, if we would go lower, you just add to your position. But you don't want to be now 100% allocated in an Ethereum position, because you don't know if we're getting rejected here and also lose the golden ratio, or if we immediately break here to the upside. Of course, if Bitcoin now makes a proper move to the upside and breaks higher and short squeezes, then definitely then Ethereum is going to follow suit. Here, that rejection candle yesterday was actually led by some comments from the SEC that they are delaying the Ethereum ETF because of some additional filings that they need to do. THETA is doing what I was expecting, but I will be completely transparent. I had a $300 position, $300 on a THETA trade. I lost it. I got liquidated in that move to the downside. My stop loss, my liquidation price was like at 147.4 or 3, and yeah, it wicked almost to the cent to that price and kicked me out. But it's fine. But overall, you see, we're creating here higher lows, even though we lost that upward sloping trend line, and now I believe that we are soon breaking out of that consolidation range here and will reclaim this upward sloping trend, and that it will be the moment where I'm going to try to long THETA once again. Then AVAX also still under the downward sloping trend line. I'm waiting here for a break of $30 to enter a position. Not interested before that, unless we would come down to like $23, $24. That would be another level where I would be willing to buy. Then near, still following here also the lower high, higher low trajectory looks really good here in terms of that this might be the higher low and that we are starting to reverse also here the downwards trend. Right now we're just fighting with the $5.07 level. Once that is flipped, we should see also a proper move here back into higher levels to like $5.50, $5.70 approximately. Now Lido, what's going on with Lido? Lido is consolidating after that big move to the downside, but you see here on the 4-hourly chart, indicators are all ramping up here to build up momentum to the upside. So here I expect at least a move to $2.23 to close the imbalance of this candle that we have in here, and then see some proper continuation to the upside. So if for some weird reason we are losing the $1.90, $1.05 level, then most likely we go all the way down to like $1.56, $1.70. But here I will add to my position to average down my liquidation price. Then Phantom still gets held down by the 50 moving average and the horizontal 56 cent level. Here I'm just patient right now to see how this is going to play out. I'm not trigger happy to enter here position before we are above 56 cents, but indicators telling me also here bullish momentum is coming back and that we are potentially forming here a bigger W pattern. Once that W pattern is confirmed, and that will be at 63 cents when we come back to 63 cents, we would get a move to 72 cents as the technical target for this W pattern, of course with an extension potentially into the $1 level. And guys, that was a quick update for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure to smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you then again tomorrow.